A very good morning, dear students. I welcome you to today's English class. Children, in today's session, we will be doing a chapter from our textbook, Roots and Wings. Students, I'm already excited about this chapter because the name of this chapter is itself so interesting. Yes, we'll be doing chapter 4 and the name of the chapter is A Journey in Space. Students, we'll be reading the chapter, and while I read the chapter, you have to take care of two things. One is the pronunciation of words. Yes, while you read something, you have to pronounce the words correctly. Apart from that, you have to notice the reading style. That is the tone in which a sentence is read. Yes, because while we read something, it is there to improve our reading skills. Right? And our reading skills include the correct pronunciation of words, the fluency of reading, and the tone in which we read the content. If all these things are correct, then our reading style or our reading skills are good enough. So, let's start reading the chapter. It goes as, a journey by air has always fascinated most people, and when it comes to a journey in space, you can visualize how fascinating it could be. Yes. Children, fascinated. What does fascinated mean? Fascinated means something that attracts you very strongly, something that interests you, right? That is fascinating. So, a journey by air, that means a travel by air, has fascinated. Yes, whenever we have to travel to some place, travel somewhere, what do we think of? Yes, there are different means of transport. You must have read in your EVS as well, means of transport like water transport, air transport, land transport. But what excites you the most? Yes, I know. For most of you, it would be air travel. So, a journey by air has always fascinated, and it's not just you children who are most interested to travel by air. It is everyone. It goes for everyone. Generally, people really like to travel by air. So, that's why it has been said in a generalized form that it has always fascinated most people. And when it comes to a journey in space, you can visualize. Visualize means you can imagine. Visualize means to form a mental image of something, right? So you can visualize how fascinating it could be, how interesting it could be. Fascinating means something that is extremely interesting. So, journey by air interests us, but a journey in space where you can have lots of things, stars and planets and everything. So that is something we can well imagine that how interesting it would be. In this lesson, you are going to read about an imaginary journey in space which you would find highly interesting. So in this lesson, so in this chapter, children, pay attention. When I spoke this sentence in this lesson, I gave a small pause because of this comma over here. So in this lesson, you are going to read about an imaginary. Imaginary means something that is fictional, something that is not real. It is imaginary. Unreal things are called imaginary things. So, we are going to read about an imaginary journey in space, which you would find highly interesting. Yes, let's read about it. What is that imaginary journey about? Beena smiled and looked ahead with wide open eyes. Right in front of her was the vast dark space. The stars shone around like fireflies in a forest. She bent forward to get a better look. Yes, so the chapter revolves around this little girl, Beena, because she is the one who traveled to space. So Beena smiled and looked ahead with wide open eyes. Yes, why did she look ahead with wide open eyes? Children, wide means broad. Whenever you see something that you have not seen before, something that is new to you, you tend to see it very carefully. So in the same way, she smiled. There was a smile on her face and she looked ahead with wide open eyes, with her broad open eyes. Right in front of her was the vast dark space. Children, right in front of her means exactly in front of her was the vast. Vast means huge or wide. So, exactly in front of her was the huge dark space. The stars shone around like fireflies in a forest. The stars, they were shining and they looked like fireflies in a forest. You know what are fireflies? Fireflies are the insects that give out light. So the stars were shining as if there are lots of fireflies. When there are lots of fireflies in a forest, so there is a lot of bright light because of the fireflies, because of the light that the fireflies emit. So the stars were shining and she bent forward to get a better look. She bent forward means to bend forward means to lean forward. So in order to get a better look, in order to look more clearly, she bent herself forward. Okay, children? Children, if you notice that the last grammar topic that we did was pronouns, right? We learnt about pronouns. So, can you notice the usage of pronouns here? Yes. Right in front of her. So, her has been used for Beena. Then, she bent forward. So, she is again used for Beena. Beena bent forward to get a better look. Now, we don't want to repeat the noun Beena again and again. So, in place of Beena, the pronoun she has been used. Right? Also, children, pay attention that you have to underline all the pink words that are there and the meanings of those pink words are given in the box. Okay? So you have to learn those meanings as well. Apart from that, side by side, I'll make you underline the difficult words. Like you can underline this word journey, visualize, fascinating, imaginary, and all the red words. That goes without saying that all the red words have to be underlined. Okay? Should we move forward? Okay. Beena's spaceship moved on noiselessly. She pushed a red button and it moved faster. Bina's spaceship. Now children, pay attention. Possessive noun, Bina's spaceship. So the spaceship that belonged to Bina. By this we are getting to understand that the spaceship that belonged to Bina. Right? Bina, that means the spaceship in which Bina was traveling basically. Right? So Bina's spaceship moved on noiselessly. Noiselessly means without making any noise. So the spacecraft in which Bina was traveling, it moved, kept on moving without making any noise. She pushed a red button and it moved faster. So she pushed a red button, must be of the speed. So, and that helped it to move faster. She was the first child to be selected to travel in space. Okay. Yes, that's what we were wondering. That how come Bina being a child, still she was able to go to space? So, she was just the first child who was selected. Selected means chosen. So, she was the first child who was chosen to travel in space. Bina had filled an online form on her computer. So children, definitely there must be certain formalities that had to be done. So Bina, she had filled an online form on her computer. Online form, I hope you understand. A form in which details are filled on the internet. Yes, these days we are doing everything online. Even this class is online. So, online form, a form that is filled on the internet. Details are filled on the internet. So, she had written that she loved the sky, stars, and she was not afraid of traveling in space. So, in the details of the form, she had mentioned that she loved the stars, the sky, and she was not afraid. Afraid means frightened or scared. So she had no fear of traveling in space. After this, she had to give a number of tests and interviews. Yes, it's not like that she had filled an online form and she would be selected. No. After that, she had to give a number of tests, right? And interviews. Interview means a formal meeting in which one or more persons question the candidate, right? The meaning of interviews is given here. So, yes, you must have heard of the word interview earlier also. Like there are interviews, job interviews, whenever you want to get to want to get a selection anywhere, you have to face an interview. In the same way, Bina also had to face interviews, and not just one. It's written she had to give a number of. That means quite many tests and interviews she had to face. She also gave physical fitness tests before she was finally selected by the New World Space Research Center in the Himalayas. So children, she also gave physical fitness tests. Physical fitness means your test of your muscular strength. Yes, you have to be strong enough while you are traveling to space. Right children, you might have seen that sometimes there are people while traveling, they have sickness or vomiting or something like that. So that is just while you are traveling by road or by train or something. So but now this was the question of traveling to space. So definitely you have to be physically fit, you have to be strong enough, and you should not be suffering from any disease or something. So she had to give physical fitness tests before she was finally selected. And what was the name of the institute that selected her? It was the New World Space Research Center in the Himalayas. So underline the word interviews, physical and research. Okay. Next, many grown-ups had been sent into space in the past, but Beena was the first child to get such a golden chance. Okay, many grown-ups. Grown-ups means adults. Adults means people who are adults means a person who is above 18 years of age is called an adult. Many grown-ups means they had been sent to space in the past. So that is always a regular activity that people go to space. But Beena, she was the first child to get such a golden chance. Golden chance means an excellent chance to do something, an opportunity to do something that is likely to be successful. So she got this golden chance of going to space. She was trained for a year before she was ready to travel in space. Yes, she was trained for a year. Training, yes, it is very, very important while you're learning anything, be it dance, karate, skating, or any other sport or any activity that you want to do in a nice way. So you need regular practice and instructions and coaching. So she was also trained for a year before she was ready to travel in space. Proper training was required and it was given to Beena. Yes, again we can see the usage of word she here, she. So these are all pronouns. Right, children? Karen, the lady astronaut, touched her and said, Beena, don't you think it is wonderful? Just look all around you. Now, she was accompanied by a lady astronaut. Astronaut means a person who is trained to travel in a spacecraft. So, Karen was the name of the astronaut who was there with Beena in the spaceship. She touched her and said, so she touched Beena and she said, so this seems to be Beena and this seems to be Karen. Beena, don't you think it is wonderful? Just look all around you. Yes, when you are in space, so the scene outside we can just well imagine, we can visualize. It would definitely be wonderful and beyond our imagination, in fact. Planets, stars, and what not to see. So she was saying, just look all around you. She was asking Beena to look all around herself. Beena said, really, I had never thought that I would travel in space one day. Yes, Beena. She also could not believe that she was actually traveling to space. So she said, yes, even I had never thought that there would come one day when I'll be traveling to space. I can see the stars, planets, moon, and even satellites. So she said that she can see many things in the space. She was able to see the stars, planets, moon, and satellites also. So you have to underline the word astronaut and satellites. Okay. I wonder if there is anyone out there who is like us. She said that she was wondering if there was anyone else in the space who was like them. If there is anyone out there who is like us. Yes, was there anyone who was like these two ladies who was there in the space? Yes, children? Yes, she was wondering. And on this note, we'll stop the reading of the chapter. And tomorrow we will find out if there was anyone out in the space like Beena and Karen. Yes, hope you are enjoying the chapter. Now children, what you have to do is you have to practice reading of this chapter twice, thrice. Okay. Also, you have to write the hard words of the chapter that we have underlined in your English notebook. Okay. And how are you going to write the hard words? Children, I have written them for you. First, you'll start with the date, the day, then lesson number, then name of the lesson, a journey in space, then write hard words. Okay? Then start writing all the red words and the words that you have underlined. Okay? And don't forget to put the numbers in the margin line. Okay? Like this, you have to write the hard words. Yes, there are 15 of them, not many for you. I hope you can write them easily. So write these hard words neatly in your English notebook. The way I have written, you have to write them in the same way. Okay, children, that's all for today. Read the chapter, write the hard words. Right, children? Bye for now. Happy learning.